Like
a metaphor for the failed conservative values would be like the telling of the truth and the revelations about the lies that were told about a dozen hearings where, frankly, we were trying to fix something that wasn't broke. Mr. Chairman, we do not have a crisis at Freddie Mac.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for recognizing me, and also to the distinguished chairman for his extraordinary leadership, which I'll address in a moment.
Etc. You seem to be saying, well, these are in areas which could raise safety and soundness problems. I don't see anything in your report that raises safety and soundness problems.
$700 billion, a staggering number, but only a part of the cost of the failed Bush economic policies.
And we passed Sarbanes-Oxley, which was a very tough response to that. And then I realized that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac wouldn't even come under it. They weren't under the 34 Act. They weren't under the 33 Act. They play by their own rules, and I'm tempted to ask how many people in this room are in the payroll of Fannie Mae, because what they do is they basically hire every lobbyist they can possibly hire. They hire some people to lobby, and they hire some people not to lobby so that the opposition can't hire.
A metaphor for the failed conservative values.
Kyle, is that the Republican view that corruption and unbridled greed on Wall Street have caused this crisis?
I'm sure that greed, the desire to make more money and not to be too careful about how you do it, was a factor. I think Senator McCain is right. Now the question is unbridled. Ordinarily we have a system in which the desire to make more money is a free market principle that we all agree with. We'd all like to do better. But it's got to be controlled so that the kind of thing that occurred did not occur. And what I would note is that from 2002 right on through until recently, the Bush administration and Republicans have sought to further or have sought to put regulations on the government-sponsored entities, Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, the groups that I think everybody agrees started this whole problem by the securitization of these mortgages. And they were stopped at every turn by Democrats.
In addition to our important oversight role in this committee, I hope that we will move swiftly to create a new regulatory structure for Fannie Mae, for Freddie Mac, and the Federal Home Loan Bank.
But I have seen nothing in here that suggests that the safety and soundness are at issue, and I think it serves us badly to raise safety and soundness as a kind of a general shibboleth when it does not seem to...
And as well as the fact that I'm just pissed off at Ophelia, because if it wasn't for you, I don't think that we'd be here in the first place. And now the problem that we have and that we're faced with is maybe some individuals who wanted to do away with GSEs in the first place, you've given them an excuse to try to have this forum so that we can talk about it and maybe change the direction and the mission of what the GSEs had, which they've done a tremendous job. There's been nothing that was indicated that's wrong, you know, with Fannie Mae. Freddie Mac has come up on its own, and the question that then presents is the competence that your agency has with reference to deciding and regulating these GSEs. And so I wish I could sit here and say that I'm not upset with you, but I am very upset because, you know, what you do is you give, you know, maybe giving a reason to, as Mr. Gonzalez said, to give someone a heart surgery when they really don't need it.
There is a very simple solution. Congress must create a new regulator with powers at least equal to those of other financial regulators, such as the OCC or the Federal Reserve.
Under the outstanding leadership of Mr. Frank Raines, everything in the 1992 Act has worked just fine. In fact, the GSEs have exceeded their housing goals. What we need to do today is to focus on the regulator, and this must be done in a manner so as not to impede their affordable housing mission, a mission that has seen innovation flourish from desktop underwriting to 100% loans.
what would make you, why should I have confidence? Why should anyone have confidence in you as a regulator at this point?
Sorry, Congressman. OFAO did not improperly apply accounting rules. Freddie Mac did. OFAO did not try to manage earnings improperly. Freddie Mac did. So this isn't about the agency engaging in improper conduct. It's about Freddie Mac.
But a concern that I have is you're making very specific, what you have correctly acknowledged, broad and categorical judgments about the management of this institution, about the willfulness of practices that may or may not be in controversy. You've imputed various motives to the people running the organization. You went to the board and put a 48-hour ultimatum on them without having any specific regulatory authority to put that kind of ultimatum on them. That sounds like some kind of an invisible line has been crossed.
Fannie Mae has manipulated, in my judgment, OFAO for years. And for OFAO to finally come out with a report as strong as it is tells me that's got to be the minimum, not the maximum.
I find this to be inconsistent and a rush to judgment. I get the feeling that the markets are not worried about the safety and soundness of Fannie Mae, as OFAO says that it is, but of course the markets are not political. The markets are not political. This hearing is about the political lynching of Franklin Raines.
Mr. Raines, $1.1 million bonus on a $526,000 salary. The 1998 earnings per share number turned out to be $3.23 and 9 mils, a result that Fannie Mae met the EPS maximum payout goal right down to the penny. Fannie Mae understood the rules and simply chose not to follow them. That if Fannie Mae had followed the practices, there wouldn't have been a bonus that year.
About 3% of your portfolio set aside. If a bank gets below 4%, they are in deep trouble. So I just want you to explain to me why I shouldn't be satisfied with 3%.
Because banks there aren't any banks who only have multifamily and single-family loans. These assets are so riskless that their capital for holding them should be under 2%.